11666 explicitly goes to the issuance of building permits, certificates of occupancy, or certificates of completion, or as it's stated in here, occupancy or certificate of use cannot be issued if there's a violation on the property. I might also add that Catskill Mountain answered the violation, had a survey done, and after further review by their engineer and myself, we have determined that the storage of the units on the property does not present a negative impact on the floodplain at that location. So that violation has been answered. What else did you want me to? I mean, the garage, there's clearly no garage being requested or maintenance.
I think Mr. Olson has to actually come to a meeting. Maybe we have to schedule him to come and meet the board. We're clearly not getting anywhere.
As the applicant, I'd like to address the board.
Okay, Harry, I'll give you a couple minutes since it's not actually a public hearing.
Well, I am the applicant, so I can answer some questions. First off, this is a very special day for railroads and for America. Today, May 10th, 1869, the Golden Spike was driven into a tie in Promontory, Utah, connecting the Transcontinental Railroad that helped fuel the development of America. At the same time, the Catskill Branch Line was being built by the Ulster-Delaware Railroad. And that's what fueled our economy here in this town and in this county and in this Catskill region. Not only did it haul commodities initially, stone, cauliflower from Margaretville, bark from tanning for leather, but ultimately turned the Catskills into America's first vacation land. I supplied a letter from the New York State DOT 2 months ago, which basically confirmed that we were a transportation entity as the New York Railroad Corporation. There was still more questions after that. The planning board referred to the town attorney, who didn't answer in a timely fashion, so once again there was another meeting. But at the last meeting I supplied a letter from our attorney, Walter Zulig, who is a professional in the railroad industry law, who has written railroad law. And he specifically identified the fact that we are a transportation facility. And he also debunked Mr. Futterfast's claims that we needed to have the permission of the Public Service Commission and or be a common carrier. 1971, all of that jurisdiction moved over to New York State DOT, of which we are part of their jurisdiction. Mr. Futterfast and the town attorney are obviously not experts in railroad law. So to ask them to interpret what we're asking them to interpret is like asking a plumber to show you how to build a roof. I would totally disregard both of their statements. The reason we're here for as long as we're here, I filed this application November 28th. That's almost 6 months ago. And that is primarily because of a professional obstructionist who we have here in Shandaken, who is the former head of the Ulster County Trail Committee, who was working in conjunction with the Ulster County Executive's Office to destroy the Catskill Mountain Railroad so they can rip up the tracks of our only historic railroad in this county and in this town so they can make a trail of it. And in the meantime, that person is also using one of the neighbors as a tool who is objecting to the unsightliness of our yard, who can't even see our yard from her property. I understand that you're being threatened with an Article 78 based on an approval of this application. But we have to do what we have to do too. We feel like we're within our legal limits. We've given you all the information that you need. And and we've substantiated that we are a transportation entity, and if we have to, then we will have to file an Article 78 to get the approval. So I really object to any thoughts of sending this to the ZBA for an interpretation. That's what's happening with the Bel Air Resort project. I mean, this is a standard format of the obstructionist. So my suggestion is this board make a decision and move ahead. Thank you.
Board have any discussion on the matter?
I do know that Harry Jamison gave this application in 6 months ago, and he was asking for 6 to 8 months to move the equipment. It could have been moved by now, from the time that we first heard from you till now. I'm really sorry for that. And, you know, we had to work through what we have here.
I understand.
You know, but I'm saying this to other people, this equipment could have been moved already,
Yes.
6 months ago.
It was moved.
Out of town.
Has any of the equipment been moved since this all started?
It was relocated on our property, and that's where it exists. And the application that we're applying for here is to keep it there. There was a plan to get rid of us, to bring in a rail pedal car operation. That didn't happen, so now Shandaken suffers the loss of approximately 6,000 visitors that we brought last year, and whatever the 22,000 or whatever that number was.
I noticed this other operation is defaulted, or whatever the word is.
Correct.
And the county is not.
Because the
going to-
FEMA money that was applied for, which we initially did the damage assessment for, was not enough to fix the rebuild, to fix the problem. And we have been accused of not being able to do our job, or not knowing enough to to do damage assessment and to correctly assess and supply a number for FEMA. That is wrong. The county engineer signed off on the applications that went to FEMA, reduced the numbers. And I also supplied Rob Stanley, there is a document in 2015, a DOT grant specifically for railroad infrastructure came available. And the Catskill Mountain Railroad applied for it. $1.3 million. That's what it's going to cost to rebuild that section. And it failed because the county, being the owner of the property, wouldn't sign off on it. So twice we've supplied accurate numbers to rebuild that, and both times the county neglected to do it. The same reason they didn't spend the FEMA money is because, like I said, they're trying to get rid of us and they're trying to rip this line up. Also be aware, and I've said this a number of times, that when this trail gets built by Ulster County, every bit of it that runs through Shandaken is on the taxpayer of Shandaken's back.
Right.
We're going to maintain it. Much better to have a tourist railroad that generates an economy and brings people here than
Nothing.
a tax-based nightmare. Once again, I seek an approval.
So the dilemma that the planning board has is that we see a lot of things coming from our council who we need to take in serious consideration. I don't understand the letter that he sent us. And we're supposed to, I mean, he's our legal counsel. Of course, the legal world doesn't always make sense. So
Well,
So we
just
have
like
to-
anybody, there's good plumbers and bad ones, and good lawyers and bad. He doesn't
Well,
always
he's a
talk.
good attorney, but, I really think we need to sit down with him personally instead of letters back and forth.
Yes.
And, so we're gonna have to do that before we can make a decision.
I have a question to ask. The letter that we got from McCabe and Mack, were they aware, did they have in their possession at the time of writing this letter, the letter from Zola?
Yes.
They did. And they saw that, they reviewed that, and they still wrote this letter.
Yeah. I know, that's why I say, I don't understand. I mean, I would understand it more if he gave reference to that letter and why he, you know, that would be better, but that's the information we'll get talking face to face with him. We're not getting it from the letter from him. So Harry, I'm sorry, but personally, I don't think we can make a decision tonight. We have to sit down face to face with his attorney and find out where he's gonna go. Discussion from the board, any other opinions?
Is it possible for us to get this attorney to come to the workshop?
He's gonna have to.
Yeah, because I want to just, before I make any decision, I want to make sure that he has all the details.
John, any discussion?
I was just thinking that everybody loses here. The county has lost the rental on that property. Venetia has lost hundreds or thousands of visitors and the money they spend and the sales taxes they pay, which goes to the county, which comes back to us, we get a share. So everybody has lost here with this delay.
So let's win.
Cliff?
I mean, I agree with John, but I also agree that we can't move forward until we speak to the attorney.
Yes.
I mean, I think that this has to happen.
I agree with John, and I propose that we put this off until we speak to the attorney.
Let's get him here at the workshop so we can ask him in person about this letter.
Okay.
So I think we should just postpone it.
All right, Harry, we're gonna have to wait until we.
I thank the board.
Face to face.
No rush, we'll be back.
I'll call you later.
I just want to have heard that name.
Yes, that would next.
Okay, new business, Kniffle line lot adjustment. That's yours, Bert? Okay, Bert came to our workshop meeting and the only changes we requested was to move the property line up on that corner to get the proper setbacks in the house, which he did.
The only other changes I made was I increased the size. There was a little bit of a misunderstanding on how large that should be. I originally had it here, where the purchaser over here wants to have it come across so it meets the back of his property. So the piece that's being transferred is actually a little bit bigger than it was the last time I was here.
Oh, right.
So it's coming all the way. The last map, I think, came something about half the size. But otherwise, the principle's the same and everything's the same. And as Don says, I could meet the setback requirements.
Setback for making one lot actually conform.
Yeah, more conforming.
more conforming. So, yeah, neither lot will be non-conforming and one lot will be more conforming. Fine. You've reached the threshold.
This is your side change? This side here?
Yeah.
Is this okay? Or is it too small? Side? Cool. Now they made more from,
The lot in the back,
no, this one here on the side. Are the setbacks correct? Isn't there a house on this property? Isn't there a house on this property?
I was actually surveying that at the time that I did the survey.
That's what?
That line,
It's not here?
this lot is remaining exactly as it is.
Oh.
You're not taking anything, you're
No,
taking it
no,
from
what are
this
you
lot.
talking about?
I'm sorry?
He moved this line from here to here, and this is a straight line.
Oh, I
It used
see.
to be
That-
jogged off, it was
I'm
straight
sorry, I
here.
misunderstood.
This was moved so that you had to clear all the way around the
Around,
10-foot
okay.
requirements. And you're only talking 10,000 square foot for the lots that front the street, and 1.5 acres for the lots towards the rear, and you're still, even taking the extra, you're still above the 1.5 acres.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you.
Art, you have any questions?
I think this one's very simple. It's very simple.
we like,
If nobody has any objections, then I'll make a motion that we accept the application as presented.
And I'll second.
this is where I object.
Board Member Christie?
Yes.
Board Member Cow?
Yes?
Board Member Rebecca?
Yes.
Board Member Moore?
Yes.
Board Member Chair Brewer?
Yes. You have a Mylar here?
Yeah,
We
it's
put it
upstairs.
upstairs for safekeeping. I put it upstairs for safekeeping, so we'll get down. We'll have it signed today.
And you need the owner's, Robert Contel signature.
Yes.
I've actually leave the maps here and have them come in, it's easier.
Let's see what.
Absolutely, absolutely. Have them available upstairs.
Yeah, and then call me as soon as they're signed, and I'll sign them.
Okay.
Thank you.
All set.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a
Good job, Bert.
Thank you, Burke.
Okay.
I know you didn't have to. No, I don't like it.
This is Mr. Tintel's boundary line adjustment. We went over during the workshop meeting. He owns a small lot there with with little log cabins on, which is 8/10 of an acre. He would like to at some point sell that, possibly sell this bigger lot. But before that, he wanted to move that property line away from his garage. So he's moving at, shows on there, 57.3 feet. So that additional little strip is 3/10 of an acre. So his little house lot will be 1.136 acres instead of 0.8 acres. Still undersized, but better than it was. That's the only change. The acreage calculation is there. The zoning district line is shown.
What's the zoning, 1.5?
Yeah, it's 1.5. Right next door, it's HB district. But where the cabin is in this large parcel is 1.5.
Next door east.
That's what this line shows here. Here, and here, that's all HB. Oh, this
But he owns all this property.
is, yes.
All right, it is the responsibility of the planning board. If he's moving that line, he should be moving it to make it 1.5
Yeah.
and make it come into compliance. He certainly has enough of area back here. I mean, it's not that much, it's like what is it now,
1.13.
I mean, you can move it straight back. Yeah, well, you would tell me which one you guys like. Because you know, they should come into compliance. If they find you move the line.
Okay. Is that,
Is that all right with you, Mark?
Yeah, let me ask you a question, John.
I think I remember that, I mean, I'm looking.
Move it back to there. I think they move it back a little bit.
set back up to the garage?
Do you think the objection would be
You're not supposed to make undersized lots. I mean, if we can make it
Well,
into compliance.
We're not creating a lot.
No, but
no.
if we could get him to bring it into
Because he would do
compliance.
it.
that would-
Okay, is that the consensus of the whole board?
It's half the board, at least, and it kind of doesn't matter.
Okay.
What do you say, John?
I mean, if he, it's not like he has to buy it from somebody else,
No,
it makes,
it's his.
it makes sense. It is the right thing.
Next to new business. It's a Hudler lot line adjustment.
He wasn't sure if he was gonna have the maps for tonight, so I put it on with a question mark, but I don't think he had a chance to get that one.
Yeah, he had mentioned that he's gonna come back.
Yeah,
Oh,
he had to do a final revision on that one, so last minute, so he didn't get the vote.
All right. That ends new business. Other business?
I don't know, this isn't, I guess it's not new business, it's probably old business, but it's come to my attention that a neighbor in Woodland Valley is putting up this big Buddha, like 40 feet tall, from what I gather. First it was 60, someone told me 70, but now I understand it's only 40 foot, and it's in a residential area.
Like a big statue.
It's a Buddha 40 foot high in his yard.
Where is his yard?
Well, he owns they bought the old Russ Roof's property in Woodland Valley, the double wide.
Yes.
And I was looking at the property records, and it shows like one parcel, 3.5 acres, and the other 31 point something acres, which is woodland, and the other's got the building on it. And from discussing it with people in the neighborhood, they're telling me that it comes under accessories. And an accessory, or an exception to an accessory, could be like 70 feet high. But when you talk about 70 feet high, they were considering silos, vintage barns, electronic antennas and things like that, cables. This is a 40-foot Buddha. And it's my understanding that in our area, which is, I think it's where that is, it's R1 zone, that you can't have any advertisements. So if you put something 40 foot up, that's, and I don't like to use the term religious type of thing, but to me it's a religious type of thing, a religious advertisement. And people have to drive by it every day and see this thing. And not only that, the neighbors are in very close proximity to it because the property is narrow there where it goes in.
Towards the back.
Yeah,
I know that.
and I don't know whether they were jackhammering or whether they were putting in pilings or whatever. But I mean, I don't know why the DEP isn't involved or the DEC. Somebody looked at it. Well,
They are, I heard they were complaining to.
But it seems like this is the first I heard of it. I didn't see it in the newspaper. And nobody in town has ever said anything about it. It's the first I'm hearing about some 40-foot Buddha.
This is on Woodland Valley Road.
On Woodland Valley Road.
Main road, yeah.
Just right where Fawn Hill is, right where Ed Fordak lives, right across, right adjacent to him.
Warren?
So I mean,
Ultimately, if you can see it, you're trespassing. I spoke to the gentleman who will be doing the site work. That's a 34-acre parcel that goes up the mountain. You're placing it towards the top of the mountain, not on the road,
Oh, it's not on the front parcel?
not gonna be on the front parcel. I already went halfway up the mountain where they're building the road. You might have heard them trying to move rocks so they can put the road in so they can get up the mountain. This comes from the individuals, Ulster Excavating, who's on the site. Because originally, I heard, it started out as 40 foot, then it was 60, then it was 70.
No, I have
And
it
the
started
max
out
was
70
82.
foot.
I heard 82 foot.
Mine is coming down, yours is going up.
Mine was 82 yesterday
In any
until I got to the
event,
site.
even if it's in the back of the property, that borders state land, and in the back of the property, there's some houses that aren't on the road, that are back in their property, which are adjacent to it. And I'm just wondering, a 40-foot Buddha, what if I put a crucifix in my yard, 40 foot high? I mean, it's a religious symbol, and I think it's a form of advertising. That's the way I look at it.
Can we start from the beginning?
Yeah.
Warren, what do you know about this?
A year and a half ago, the individuals who own the property approached me about placing a statue on the property. When they showed me where the property was located, and I indicated where they could or couldn't put it, we only have the height exceptions for accessory. There is no statute for statues. So we don't have a code listing heights, widths, locations of statues. Could it be interpreted as advertising? Absolutely. Advertising from the road, but like I said, their proposal to place it, I'll be keeping an eye on it, obviously, because of what they told me they were going to place it would be hidden from view. Very similar to, let's say, the cell phone tower in High Mountain. You cannot see it from Shandaken unless you're standing at the base of it. Granted, you can see it from Fleishman's. You can see the cell tower, and that's 180 feet, but you can't find it anywhere in the town outside. So if you place this 40-foot statue amongst 90-foot trees on the top of the mountain, I can't see, if it's too close to the back, that would be the DEC or the DEP. They're not going to have anything to say because nobody's supposed to be on the property anyway. So I don't know where this is, I understand when they hear this and nobody knows exactly where it's going to be yet. They'll put it right on the side of the road, similar to down towards Boyceville. Have you seen down in Boyceville, there's the statues on the side of the road? Well, that's not what they're proposing here.
You mean the ones with the Indians?
Some of the stuff down there.
That's it, you mean Boyceville?
Yeah.
In Boyceville, there's,
That's been there for like 100 years.
100
I mean,
years,
that's not,
but that's
that's
when
not
I,
something that's being
when I
constructed.
referenced them and I said, you can't do that. I said, it can't be on the side of the road. They said, oh, no, we're going out into the middle of the woods to put this.
I don't mind.
So if I go in the middle of the woods and put up a cell tower, is that okay?
Not a cell tower.
This particular
why not?
property,
The
though.
cell tower
is
sells
owned-
the
I
community.
mean, it's a play on words, I think.
Well, okay.
I mean, a Buddha isn't a cell tower. A cell tower is thin and, it's sometimes it's difficult to see and they make them look like trees. A Buddha is a Buddha. And I don't know, 40 foot high, I mean, if somebody wants to practice religious types of, whatever with the Buddha and pray to it, that's one thing, but you need a 40-foot Buddha? And how wide is it going to be? I mean, you say that nobody's going to see it. How's it going to impact the environment? How's it going to, and also, the people that own it, are they private individuals or is it a religious organization? Is this going to become like the Pathwork Center was, or not the way it was, but the way it is now?
Oh, Memlin?
Yeah, Menlin now with, Robert Thurman.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a high priestess monk.
I don't mind people being able to use this, this planning board as a way of speaking your concerns or anything, but the reality is, this has got really nothing to do with the planning board. I mean, nothing that the planning board can rule on or anything.
Unless it's in violation of something.
Well, I'm saying that, in my opinion, it's in violation of the zoning rules of the town of Shandaken, and the fact that if it's not, if they're calling it an accessory where the book doesn't, the book doesn't address statues and things of that nature that tall. It addresses silos, electronic towers and things of that
What
nature.
about the building height?